it's about pain. And as far as I know, pain is Vedana. Is it not true?
Dukkha, 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 sukha.
Yes, unpleasant bodily feeling, as Lucas said. So unpleasant bodily feeling at the moment of body consciousness, experiencing the object with unpleasant feeling.
But pain itself is not feeling, is it? It's some kind of experience through the body sense. Unpleasant experience through the body sense, hardness or heat or a combination, pressure of a combination of hardness, heat and pressure.
Oh, so it's accompanied by dukkha.
Yes, by unpleasant feeling. So what we talk about as the pain is usually the unpleasant feeling. And also, of course, what we talk about having so much pain when a lot of what is experienced is just the dosa on account of that unpleasant bodily feeling, because the painful bodily feeling just lasts for a moment and is gone. But usually there's so much thinking with dosa afterwards and in between those experiences.
Okay. Sarah, as far as I remember, once you said that there is no place for pain to take place. And I do not understand its meaning. Why do you
So at a moment of experiencing the hardness or the softness with unpleasant feeling, where does that experience take place?
So is it not a bodily thing?
So there's experiences all over the body. At each point of the body, there's body sense. So the chitta and the vedana, the painful feeling, arises at the body sense. The body sense is the base for that experience.
Yeah.
And what is experienced is what is experienced is the hardness or the softness with that unpleasant feeling. But at the moment, probably what I said, at the moment of understanding pain or painful feeling, at that moment, there's no thought about place on the body or arm or leg, because it's just the reality of unpleasant feeling that appears at that moment. At the moment of experiencing a painful feeling, no thought of arm or leg or any place at all.
So can we say that it's an experience of earth element, Patavidhatu,
or heat
Oh,
element? For example, it may be very hot, strong heat that is experienced with painful feeling. Hardness, coldness, heat, softness.
But when pain is so bad, it becomes very painful. Yeah. Why it becomes so painful?
Conditions for at that moment of experience of the hardness or softness at the moment of bodily experience. It can be with very slight unpleasant bodily feeling or very strong bodily feeling. But even so, it's for a moment, and then there is experiencing through the mind door, many mind door processes with dosa on account of it. So it's just a moment, however slight or strong, and then fallen away. But there can be many, many experiences so that it seems very strong.
Oh. So, so experiencing of pain through the mind door can become very intense.
Through the mind door, after the first mind door process, it's actually a concept, an impression of the pain, but it seems so real. It seems that the pain lasts for a long time, but actually it's an impression and a concept of the pain. So it's thinking about the pain with dosa, and it seems so strong, but actually it's not the pain which is experienced, because it's just the nimitta of the pain, and then conditioning the concept, the idea of the pain, my very painful toe, or the shooting pain down my leg. But actually it's just thinking about the pain, not the reality of not the rupa that is experienced with bodily painful feeling. It's mental painful feeling, domanassa, with the dosa that arises in the mind door.
How can we be aware of pain? What is a proper way of becoming aware of pain?
What about now? Is there painful feeling now or pleasant feeling?
Yes,
What about now?
Yeah, I do.
Painful feeling. So it's just a Dhamma. It's not my pain. It's just a painful feeling, and then gone. And the next moment, thinking about the question, no thought of pain at that moment. So it can only be understood now when it appears. If it doesn't appear, it can't be known. And what about the domanassa, the unpleasant mental feeling that follows, different from the painful bodily feeling, different moment. So when it appears now, it can be known, and then suddenly you find no pain, because it's just a moment and then gone.
So we have to be aware of even the difference between dukkha and domanassa.
Different realities, the painful bodily feeling different from the unpleasant mental feeling that arises with the aversion. So the two arrows, like that's why for the arahats, the first arrow is experience the bodily painful feeling, but no aversion, no domanassa on account of it. So it has to come back, the understanding, to what appears now. And everyone is interested in pain and dosa because it's so unpleasant. But what about pleasant feeling? What about moments of pleasant feeling? What about moments of seeing? What about moments of hearing? Because only one reality appears at a time. So it's not my pain, it's not my seeing, it's not my hearing, it's not my pleasant feeling, just dhammas arising and falling away.
Okay. So there are lots of things like domanassa and dukkha, and also pain as rupas. It could be heat or pressure, etc.
But the heat or the cold isn't painful, isn't the experience of anything. It's just heat or cold or pressure. If there's no experience of it with painful bodily feeling, then no impression about pain at all. So it's only the experiencing of that heat or cold, the experiencing of unpleasant feeling, that is the pain, but it has to be the rupa that is experienced at that moment. And when we say dukkha, it depends whether we're talking about all kinds of realities or whether we are talking about, we're differentiating between the 5 kinds of Vedana. So when we're talking, distinguishing between bodily painful feeling and mental bodily feeling, then we distinguish between the dukkha, the unpleasant bodily feeling, and the domanassa, the mental bodily feeling. Okay, we can discuss it more with
Sarah,
John
hello,
and
hello,
everyone else.
hello.
Hello, Lucas.
I'm sorry, Tadao, listen, I just would like to ask a question because it's following your question, you know, about the dukkha, for example, because we know three kinds of dukkha. Yeah, this is this. In Pali, I don't remember really, but no, I don't remember now. That's only that. I remember very well, but not today. Yeah, but okay, Sarah, I have a question to you. Yeah, because we talk about the bodily feeling, for example. Yeah, I know there are different variations. That's fine. That's true. That must have been true. But my question now is, you know, if we really put attention to that, you know, it's a problem. It's a big problem, you know. If we do put attention to the, in my opinion, yeah, if we do really put attention to the words, even, you know, it's, I can't say I can't hear, I can't hear nothing, because you see, that's only one time, you know, and I can't say I understand that I can hear, you know, I can't at all, you know. It's my question to you, and this is, can you follow up about that message to Tadao about, for example, the pain? Yeah, how do you understand it, Sarah? Thank you, Lucas.
Like you said, Lucas, we can distinguish between three kinds of feeling: sukha, dukkha, and upekkha. In this case, all kinds of unpleasant feeling, bodily unpleasant feeling and mental bodily feeling are dukkha. Pleasant feeling is sukha, neutral feeling is upekkha. Or we can distinguish into five kinds of feeling. In this case, the unpleasant bodily feeling is dukkha, and the unpleasant mental feeling is domanassa. And so it depends on how we distinguish in different categories. When you mentioned about paying attention, yes, I agree. The point is not to pay attention, because this is I, the self, doing, trying to attend, trying to observe. It's not the understanding of what appears naturally. If we just want to understand painful feeling, but what about seeing now? What about hearing? What about kindness? What about annoyance? Different realities. So it depends on conditions, what appears. And I'm going to check if Ajahn is here now too. Ajahn, are you here now?
Yeah.
Sawadika, Ajahn. And also everyone else who has just joined
Sawadika,
too.
Ajahn.
Yes, Sawadika.
Swadikap.
So I don't know if you heard the topic of discussion, which both Tadao and Lucas have brought up, is pain and painful feelings. So we've been talking about different kinds. You may like to add more.
Sorry, just a moment, please. Alai. Just a moment. I think that we try to understand whatever the word talk about, but what about the truth of it concerns whatever is now appearing? For example, for feeling, it seems like we are thinking about how many kinds of it and what is it. But what about the feeling right now? We talk about the 5 kinds or the 3 kinds, but what is there now as feeling is there? That's why listening to the truth of the word of the teaching, just to understand the truth of what is there now. No self, no one, and no thing. But what is there at that very moment? At moment while we're talking about feeling, there is feeling that should be known as it's there. Not just the word, but it's there. No matter what we talk about, hardness and softness, it's now there. But what about the truth of it? No one there at all, even feeling. When it appears, no one there at all. That's why to learn about what is there, which hasn't been known as it is before at all. But now it begins to understand what we are talking about, just to understand what is there, which is there, to be known, whether the word is true or not about it. For example, feeling, it's there. What kind of feeling? It's there, no matter 5 or 3. See, just to lead to understand what is there as it is. We take the whole body, the whole world, the whole thing, like people and different sort of things. But in truth, what is there? Just one reality at a time, arising very rapidly, falling away very rapidly. Nothing there, and it's now. No matter we're talking about body or hardness or feeling or like or dislike. So in order to understand the truth of what is there in a day, there must be hearing about it and understanding that what we heard is just about to know oneself as we take that for self and this for self all day, all life. That's all. That's why what is feeling right now, we're talking about feeling. What kind of feeling can it be known right now? It's not pain, it's not pleasant, it's not like or dislike, but it's just upha in Pali, indifferent feeling, which is there. If we don't talk about indifferent feeling, how can there be the thinking to know the feeling which is indifferent, upekha? It's the unknown, and we keep on talking about it, but each word should be understood as, is it true at this moment? Can it be known right now? Because we are talking about it. We're talking about seeing, and seeing is there now. We're talking about hearing, and hearing is there now. Just to understand it, it's so very, very short and unknown, arising and falling away. What is left is only the image or the what it appears as it is, just one by one. That's why study Dhamma is to understand what is there as Dhamma, as no one at all. It's there all day, anytime, any moment, to be studied, to be understood, like feeling right now. At moment of pleasant feeling, it's time when Panya is there to begin to understand what we have heard about it is there now, as it is. How much pleasant feeling or how very, very slight pleasant feeling is there to be known as no one there at all. The truth is that actually the world is breaking now, each moment. It cannot last at all. But who knows if Buddha didn't teach about it at all. That's why we learn to understand the word, to understand what is there right now. And this is intellectual understanding until Panya is enough to condition moment of understanding it right now and understand the difference between the nature which can experience and is now experiencing and that which cannot experience. Everything is there to be known. If there is understanding of its nature as it is, but even it's there, but no understanding of its nature, how can there be understanding directly of that which is now appearing as what we have heard every time when we are talking about the teaching or the word of truth of the Buddha? So now we are talking about feeling. Is there feeling now? What kind of feeling? Do we have to name it or call it? But no one can change the characteristic which feels, which is unknown. No one talk about it. No one think about it. But the word of the Buddha, conditioned moment of to understand what is there in life in each moment as no one and nothing at all, no matter what we are talking about. That's why no way can I or shall I or do have to be aware. Not at all. Because it's impossible. When there's more understanding, it's the moment of letting go, little by little, the clinging to the self, and what is now is what is heard. But what is there now is that which is so true, that is now arising and falling away. That's why no one can force oneself to experience the truth of what is there, which arises and falls away. Only the understanding which begin to study, to know that what we are talking about is so close, is now, but not enough understanding of it. So there's no condition for direct awareness with understanding what is there, as one has heard before. What is use? What is useful? If there is only, we take it for awareness, but without understanding at all. So what is there? Just want to have it, not to understanding it. But the truth is that without understanding it as it is, as we're talking about, that it's there to be known, that can be conditioned for a moment of direct awareness. It's there, and there must be understanding, little by little, of the truth of it as not self. Because even it's upekha or indifferent feeling, no, everyone knows it's not moment of being pleasant or sad, but it's there, indifferent feeling. But it's not known. But now, it's there now. See, the feeling, the feeling. There must be feeling now. And what feeling is there? So true. But it's not direct understanding with direct awareness yet. But it will condition moment of being to be aware. But understanding is there. Develop from moment to moment of intellectual understanding to begin to understanding it as just a reality. No name for it, whether it's indifferent or not, what degree of it, whether it's when it's so slight, pleasant feeling, no need to see anything because the truth appears as it is to moment of direct awareness and understanding. That's why we are talking about what is there now. Any moment, from moment to moment in life, in samsara, non-stop, by conditions. So what we're talking about is that now, and begin to lead to understanding it as it is, as no one, as nothing there. That's why there must be satya parami, to be truthful to the truth, just to listen and then consider to understand the truth, and it will lead to more understanding of that which is now, here, at any moment. So we can talk about anything to lead to understand what is there now as it is, as not self. No matter we talk about citta or cittasika or rupa or painful feeling or hardness or softness, it's there now, but no understanding of it. So there must be attachment to it with ignorance. Whatever is there, unknown, its truth, it is the object of attachment instantly by conditions. That's why who is thinking about awareness, just thinking about it, but the moment of being aware of what is there now has to be by conditioned, because there must be understanding enough to directly understand the nature of it, as we have talked about right now. Otherwise, it's just the word, and the reality is kept on falling away, arising and falling away by conditions all the time, unknown. So it's so natural just to understand. The point of listening is to understand what is there now, as each word we are talking about. For example, hardness, it's there now. Why no? Why there's no direct awareness and understanding the truth of it? No understanding from intellectual understanding enough to condition moment of not forget to understand it because it's there. And the function of direct awareness is there. And right understanding is there. Beginning to understand little by little. In the beginning, it's so very little. There can be doubt and many thinking about it, many moments of thinking. But the truth is that thinking is not feeling, it's not hardness, everything that before there can be direct understanding of the truth. So it appears, what we have talked about, appears little by little to panya. So panya develops to understand directly the truth of that object which is now appearing. While when there's no understanding, no hearing about the truth, no way to understand the truth of it. But from hearing and considering, there can be the understanding of the difference between the intellectual understanding and the moment when understanding is there directly of an object and not expected before, because it hasn't arisen yet. How can one know that sati by then conditioned to be aware of what object there? Even right now, it can be because there's hearing enough to condition the understanding of that which is now appearing, and that is not self. It's only the nature which can understand the words, the meaning of truth, and the characteristic of that which is there now, ready to be known when right understanding is there. But when there is ignorance, no right understanding, it just fall away, unknown, from life to life. That's all. That's why some people in the past, from hearing the truth, they can be enlightened the nature of that object because of the accumulation is enough to understand the word that it's about what is there now. And Panya is strong enough to understand that which is there by conditions. Sariputta didn't know before that he would be the enlightened person, follower, savaka, by conditions, see. So the condition is the understanding about that which is now appearing as no one and no self and no thing, from hearing again and again and again, before there can be even a moment of thinking about the truth in life, any moment, any time, unexpectedly. All depends on unexpected, because actually it's only thinking and expect. But the truth is that just a moment of a conditioned reality arises to be such and then falls away instantly, right now. So natural. So all depends on the understanding of no one and no self, developed enough to letting go, no matter what is there, it's gone. And there can be a little more understanding of that by conditions. By then, there's no doubt about the difference between intellectual understanding and the patipati, the development directly of the truth of that which appears, until it can appear well, because panya is there to understand it. So the point is just understanding it or no understanding by oneself. Who knows better right now? So consider each word that it's there now, no matter what we use for what word of it. For example, anusaya, asava, upadana, and so on. It's there to understand the truth that no one there at all. Even thinking is conditioned by accumulation, whether it is right or wrong, clear or not. So it's time to study to understand that what we're hearing now is just about what is there now. And that can be directly understanding its truth, the arising and falling away. When Panya is strong enough to let go, the idea of self, very permanent, it doesn't fall away at all. But it's there. Seeing, it's not hearing, it's not touching, and it's there now. Seeing sees, hearing hears, not enough understanding of the nature that it's just the reality which is conditioned to arise and experience by different manners, by different characteristics, by different ones, not the same one at all. Like seeing cannot be attachment. for sure. But no attention, no awareness, because awareness is not just attention. It is aware directly of that which is now. Even it's not that again, it doesn't matter because there must be conditions for whatever arises to appear, but to ignorance or to understanding. Very natural right now. No one can do anything, no one can change, it's gone by condition arising and falling away. Conditions it to arise and then after that fall away. Who can stop the way it is? Completely, absolutely gone. Never to return, never to arise again, no matter what. To begin to have more confidence of the truth, to be Satya Parami, that it can be object of right understanding little by little until Panya can penetrate the truth of it right now. Because it's just like one heard about it. It's gone. It's there. And then no more. See, every moment. Just to open up or reveal the truth of that which is there as nothing. Only conditioned realities, different one, arising and falling away, unknown, as it's not known, attachment with ignorance is there. Just take it for something. Just right now. The
Ajahn,
words of
I
the truth.
often hear you say, be truthful to the truth. Can you explain a little what you mean?
What is the truth now?
Well,
It's
you've
you
just
now.
been talking. It's this present moment. Whatever arises is the truth.
So be truthful to the truth. No self, no one. It's completely gone, never to arise again. Otherwise, nothing can letting go. Attachment, so much. Nothing can compare how much it is. Very, very difficult to create or to eradicate it. Impossible when there's no understanding. That's why just hearing about it's there, it's conditioned, it's now appearing because it has a reason. But the arising and falling away is not known. But since it's true, Satya Barami, so true, that the truth is that nothing is so true as what is there is conditioned to arise and fall away. No one. The understanding of no me, no one, and no thing can condition detachment, letting go, little by little, but only at moment when panya is there, at different level, at moment of thinking right now, or at moment of directly experiencing until it develops on to the moment when it appears as it is. So clear, that's the meaning of vipassana, very clear as it is, and thinking about what we mean by clearness with understanding. Otherwise, ignorance covers up the truth which now, what is that? It's conditioned to arise and fall away. Who knows? That's why what is that can be known. This is the truth. To be truthful to the truth, not to do anything, but understanding little by little about the truth. And that can be the moment of wrong understanding in order to eliminate the clinging to such wrong understanding as self right now. The only way. Hearing the truth, knowing about it means what is there now to be known as it is. Satya. So what is Satya besides this? To be truthful to. If one just want to have more understanding, is it truthfulness to the truth that is just right now? No one
No, no, it's not
can
possible.
develop anything. Only understanding is there, little by little. Even understanding is not self, by conditions. That's why people have different accumulation to condition such different realities. So now, anyone who understands the truth, so truthful, adidana, so firm to the truth that it can be known, it can be directly experienced, but with right understanding that what we are hearing now is just a way to get closer and closer to understand the truth of that which now, when it appears only, because the arising and falling away of realities are so very rapidly. So we think that it's there, but actually it's gone. But the succession of the rapidity of the arising and falling away of a reality appears as nimitta of that. So Buddha taught about different procession of experiencing an object to have understanding that actually what can be known is only that which appears.
Can I say something? I'm so sorry, Tanajan, if I may interrupt.
Carry on, Lucas.
Yes, I have a question to Tanajan. Of course, of course, of course. But Tanajan, oh gosh, my question, Tanajan, is it's according to that what you told us now, but you know that it's possible, it's really possible to understand, but Tanajan, you asked in a couple of minutes ago that if anyone understands that. So I tell you, it's impossible to do without the such a parami. It's impossible to do without, you know, to understand, you know. It's my opinion, Tanajan.
Yes, because you see that without satya, to be truthful to the truth, how can there be the understanding of the value of that which is understanding the truth only, which is the most precious thing? To understand how precious it is when while one just lives with no understanding at all from life to life, and then there is the understanding of the truth of what is there as it is and conditions for everything. Otherwise, they cannot be letting go the idea of self if there is the idea of I can do, no understanding of conditions. That's why each word brings about understanding of the truth little by little, to be more confident of the truth, and that is to be Satya Parami. Never change. The truth is there, ready to be understood, depending on conditions, whether there is right understanding of its truth or no understanding of it at all. It's there as it is. For example, what is sin? What is the truth? To be truthful to the truth. No one there at all. Otherwise, there is an idea of something there all the time, and wrong understanding. Try very hard to understand it, but actually, it's impossible if the idea of I. No understanding of each one as it is by condition just arise and falls away. Otherwise, there's no birth and death, no samsara. So understanding is the best thing, the most precious among all conditioned realities, because it can understand the truth. Does anyone would like to understand the truth? Or it doesn't matter at all? It doesn't mind. But what about the moment of understanding? So very precious. That is there, can be understood as it is. No I, this is the true. So study the teachings with the understanding of no self. And what is said now is the teaching of the Buddha about hardness, hearing, thinking right now. And the truth is that it's there by condition. Without conditions, it cannot arise at all. And it has to be its own proper conditions for hearing, for seeing, for like or dislike, heat, cold, painful, pleasant, very, very natural in daily life. Very simple, very common, but not known as it is. So anyone who heard the teaching, what about the understanding? How much confidence to keep on, even it's so very, very difficult, but it can be enlightened, the truth. When Panya develops on and on with the idea of no self, which means letting yourself little by little, very natural to understand clearer and clearer about Buddha thought, about what is there, to condition the keen Panya, very sharp Panya, to understand it as no self. Understanding the truth is that understanding about no self, no one, no thing, only different realities. So now different realities are there right now. And we talk about it to understand it little and little, to be conditioned for directly understand it at the moment when it's there with understanding from hearing. And one can understand how much or how little it is at any level, intellectual level, understand more enough or not enough at all. Not yet. See, doubt about feeling. For example, while saying feeling is there now. And so at moment of pain, when there's the understanding from hearing that pain is just a reality, see, but there's no moment of remembering the truth. It's me, so very painful at that very moment. Who else is painful? No one. But me, I'm having painful feeling, see, still I, but actually painful feeling is painful feeling only when it arises and then falls away. Where's the I? Where's me? Where's mine? It's gone completely. So any word can bring about understanding what is there now, directly, little by little. At moment when hearing about it, for example, feeling, is it known as is there the feeling? Not yet, or sometime, or not at all yet. But even while one is listening to the truth, depending on conditions, it can be moment of understanding, feeling right then, instantly, because talking about it and it's there to be known, to be penetrated, the truth that's there, only when it's there. After that, where is it? Never be found at all, because it's gone completely, never to arise again. The new one is conditioned, thinking about it, and then gone. Each moment is gone, from moment to moment to the end, until the end of life and continue on and on again and again and again, from birth to death, from birth to death. So the understanding has to be right now to be accumulated. Otherwise, when it will be accumulated? And now no one, only different realities arising and falling away. And panya is a characteristic of a reality which can understand the meaning of the word, and sanya marks and remembers, and it's there when the conditions arise again, but different ones. Never be the same at all. In samsara, only once in samsara. And this is the way, the path pointed by the Buddha to understand the truth in order to let go wrong understanding and ignorance, which take that which is not there anymore as something permanent. And that's the understanding begins to see that that is wrong understanding, not according to the truth of what is there at all. So the words of the teaching can be understood to be proved, to be proven anytime, right now. It's not there anymore. At moment of seeing, it's not the moment of hearing. So what is there? Gone, never to arise again. And then when there are conditions, it arises and gone, unknowingly all the time. So there can be the beginning of understand what is asava, see, and what is anusaya, and what is kilesa, nivarana, and so on. It's there from moment to moment, never be the same. Otherwise, there cannot be moment of letting go wrong understanding at all.
So, Achan, what I'm gathering is that truthfulness is actually a developing panya.
Right. All paramis have to be panya, conditioned by panya. No matter it arises with panya or not, but it's there as the base for everything. To be wholesome, more wholesome. Even listening is wholesome.
And to Tao, no matter it's painful feeling or any other reality now, it's gone instantly. But it's taken for something. It's taken for my experience or something important, and it seems to last. And we can see how absurd it is. So actually there's clinging then when taking it for something. So no matter what it is, no matter how disturbing, because it's taken for something with clinging, it seems to last on and on as something that is there, but actually it's gone all the time at each moment. It doesn't last for an instant. And it doesn't matter in the end what it is, whether it's pleasant feeling or painful feeling or any other reality. It just appears for a moment and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's my feeling all the time.
Something, my arm, my feeling, my pain. So it's not, there's no letting go of that which is actually gone already.
Yeah.
Because of the obsession in the mind with it as something.
Yeah. Hi, Constantine. Just before you say that sati is not attention.
Attention is what we say for manasikara.
Ah.
That's why I just talk about one reality at a time. Otherwise, they are there mixed up.
So manasikara could be ksara or aksara. But
One's
sati,
attention See, we have heard the word wise attention. What does it mean? It's not panya, but conditioned panya because of the characteristic of wise attention, even at moment of hearing. See, some people just hear any word and forget, no interest about what does it mean about at all. But attention not like that. When it's wise attention, it attend carefully.
Then how the wise attention differ from sati?
Sati is moment of being aware of wholesomeness.
Oh,
So it arises with each wholesome citta because awareness is aware of wholesomeness.
so can I say that time-wise, duration-wise, Manasikara lasts longer than sati?
Each moment arises and falls away. For citta, there are three anukhana, upada, titi, and panka. And for rupa, see, lakkhana, rupa, upata, titi, panka is for citta, nama. And for rupa, upajaya, santati, anicca, charata.
So Yoniso Manasikara, for having Yoniso Manasikara, yeah?
At
There,
this moment of seeing, there is manasikara. See, who knows its characteristic? Because it's not wholesome or unwholesome yet. So what can be known in a day is just moment of wholesome or unwholesome. Some moment only, but no direct understanding of any or each reality which is there. Unknown. Even manasikara, which arises with seeing right now, unknown. Because it's not kusala and akusala. It is vipaka. That's why we can understand the different function of kusala and akusala and vipaka. How many functions of vipaka? It is not moment of jhana, like or dislike. Even manasikara is there at moment of vipaka and at moment of kusala and akusala. See, even it's the same reality, same characteristic, but different by chati, as result or as the cause. So we have to understand what functions of vipaka citta are there to know how much is there in a day, whether it's important or it's only conditioned to condition different like or dislike in a day. Kusala or akusala in a day. That is the function of manasikara when it's not vipaka. So even right now, we talk about it, but it does not appear. But it's the beginning to understand life or a moment in life, each moment, that what are there in a moment, unknown, until what appears can be known. That's why even right now, what can be known of its nature is that which is now appearing. So immediately, what appears, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, and the object, visible object, sound, and so on. See, only that. What are there in between? Or what are there in a moment? Unknown. Does anyone try to know it? Impossible, because what about understanding of that appears is not yet. So what about that which does not appear? And Buddha taught about the truth, to understand the truth that even a moment, what is there in that very moment? Or even rupa, which we take for table and chairs and body and nails, head and to and so on. What is there? The absolute truth. What is it? That which is not self cannot be taken for anything because it's not there anymore after it's gone. So study Dhamma is study to understand what we take for self or whatever we take in a day for things in life. And it's there now. But no understanding without hearing the truth about it and be truthful to the truth.
Okay, thank you very much.
And this is meant by understanding. There must be object of understanding. And it's there, appearing, depending on how much we heard about it. It is that which sees, even the word seeing, what is it? Experiencing the object and then gone. Only that. Manasikara is there, Chetana is there, Phassa is there. See, in a moment, unknown. But by hearing, one can see that it cannot be anyone or anything because Phassa is Phassa, Vedana is Vedana, Sanya is Sanya, Ekakata is Ekakata. Each one is different ones. And never be the same, not that which has fallen away cannot arise again. So how uncountable realities. That's why Buddha just say, even so there are how many kinds, categories of each reality. Like Phassa is Phassa. No matter its contact, the object of seeing or hearing or smiling or tasting or touching, it's only that. It cannot be other thing. Attachment is attachment. It cannot be other thing at all. Each one is there by conditions and then gone, never to arise again. Is it better than not understanding anything at all which appears in life and cling so much to that which is not there and that which cannot be taken from mind at all because it's gone. Even what we take from my body, each moment is gone. No me. So nothing can belong to anyone because actually there's no one at all. Just live. See, we use live, but who lives? Who can control it? Who can manage it? Impossible. By conditions, each moment, even moment of seeing right now, hearing right now, thinking right now, all about that which is very close and then gone. And this is just to be accumulated, implanted, so that it can grow to understand more about whatever is there in a day by conditions, unexpectedly. Each moment cannot be known beforehand. So only that which appears and there are conditions for understanding it directly or hearing and considering it until you can understand little by little the truth, the absolute truth of what is there now. That's why by then we can understand the virtues of the Buddha. Otherwise, no one can understand this moment as it is. So each word of the truth can be known, studied to understand the truth of that very moment. For example, feeling, see, or thinking, or hardness, or whatever is there, one by one, at a time. At a time, so the other does not appear when it's only just one is known at a time. And this is the only way, the understanding of the truth from the very beginning and on and on and on and on until it can penetrate the truth which is so true now, the arising and falling away of that which doesn't look like it falls away or it arises at all. That's why it needs the Viriya Parami and Khanti Parami, Satya Parami, Nekhamma Parami, Adhidana Parami. Is there Parami now? And without Parami, can there be the understanding of the truth, the Vipassana or enlightenment, moment of experience, the absolute truth, the Four Noble Truth? And this is the way, very, very subtle, because people cannot understand it. This is the way to get closer, closer to truth in order to experience it, not just to think about it or think about the truth of it. And it takes quite a long time because wrong understanding, taking something as permanent, as something, has to be little by little eliminated until it can be absolutely eradicated, never to arise again at moment of experiencing the noble truth. The third one, and the path now is leading to experience that, the fourth truth, the fourth noble truth. And this is to understand reality, not just to hear about the number, and it's there, but it's there here and now, what we are talking about. Exactly the same as what we heard. But it depends on understanding, whether it's strong enough to experience it on such and such level, which has to develop on and on and on before it can be eradicated. That which has been accumulated from life to life, ignorance, attachment, and wrong understanding of taking whatever is there as something.
Achanka, so when there is a degree of panya, there must be some of the paramis. Is that correct?
Even right now, at any moment of understanding is parami.
Yes.
And
Of course.
what arises with panya, viriya, and khanti, satya, and so on, develop. So it's not just I am developing, but it's the moment of understanding the truth, to be more confident, satya, adhidana, viriya, khanti, nekhamma, to let go, wrong understanding. Otherwise, why does one listen to the truth? What for?
Yes, I sometimes forget that there's paramis going along with developing panya, and that panya is also a parami.
So what we talk when we use the word parami, what we are talking about, if it's not now, at
So
moment of
if
kriya,
it's
and
not now, then it's just thinking.
no, even at moment of interesting, to be interested in listening to understand what is beneficial and what is not beneficial in life. See, because not understanding anything, one of realities are conditioned with ignorance and attachment and other realities in a day. Unknown that it's not self, it's not there, as permanent as we think of I and something there. So it's one, yeah.
We don't have to name them, but at that
the birth of understanding.
yes, we don't have to name them, but if there is a little understanding or wise considering, there has to be nekama, there has to be letting go at that moment of akusala, there has to be kanti at that moment, there has to be virya to support it. So they're there already, but we don't name them. We don't have to think, oh, now there's aditana, but at that moment of understanding, it's there, determined to understand what is right. There is truthfulness at that moment of understanding, different from when there's just thinking about my pain or myself or my something to be developed. So they're supported by the paramis from the very beginning, any moment of understanding, any wise considering of Dharma, supported by paramis at that moment.
So Sarah, at the moment of understanding, how come there is a let go?
Because at that moment of understanding, there's no clinging as usual to I or me or my pain or my arm or something. It's just letting go just a little bit, that wrong understanding of something there or someone there, because it is the understanding that it is just Dhamma which appears now for a moment. So considering now it is just visible object that's seen. We don't have to say there's letting go, but at that moment of wise considering, there is the letting go at that moment of something that is seen, something that is experienced.
Yes,
or at the moment of understanding, it's just seeing which sees. There's letting go of I who sees right now.
Yes,
for a
yes,
moment.
very good. Yes, thank you.
And
Thanks,
can I
Tom.
just add a little bit, to what Sarah has just said? There are other moments when there's no clinging to. For example, at the moment of seeing or hearing, at that very moment, there's no clinging. But we don't call them moments of letting go, because seeing does not have the function of not clinging. It's only panya which has the function of seeing things as they truly are. And when things are seen as they truly are, there is no clinging, because things are seen as impermanent or dukkha or anatta. And so it's the moments of panya that accumulate and build up the propensity of letting go, as Sarah explained, but only those moments.
Thank you, John. It's very good. Thank you.
John, I want to bring up a topic that there was a discussion with by in the chat while this discussion was going on. A friend who I think has left now mentioned that when he visited Thailand several years ago, he mentioned that he'd experienced the first Vipassana jnanas, but it wasn't taken seriously. And he mentioned that it happened by concentration when he was young, when he was a teenager. Now, it's also quite common experience that people think they have had different experiences when they were young. and it was also mentioned on our discussion list, but I wonder if you have any comments that might be helpful.
Ajahn, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I forgot again to turn on. We're talking about some unexpected experience, right?
He
For
said
somebody.
he doesn't know why it happened,
It
but
is
this experience
Vipassana,
happened when he was young, yes. And he's mentioned it quite a few times, and he said he mentioned it when he was in Thailand, but it wasn't taken seriously. And he said it happened through concentration at that time, but not
Okay.
since.
What is Vipassana? So that he can take it as Vipassana. But what is Vipassana?
It's a very clear understanding of reality that appears
At
now.
that moment of experiencing such moment, where is the panya? So that it can be Vipassana. When there's no panya, can that be Vipassana? No matter what is there.
No, it can't, because Vipassana is Panya. It is the Panya which understands very well. And often people think it is through concentration that they have this experience, but it has to be the clear Panya that understands.
Okay. If we don't talk about this case, at concentration is concentration, it's not panya. Can it perform the function of panya?
No, it can't.
So how can there be when it's wrong, it can understand? Impossible. Because it's only wrong, strong concentration, miccha samadhi. Because no panya is there. That person just think that it's panya, but panya can understand little by little. How can there be so great panya and no panya at that moment of experiencing such strange happening? No matter what is there, panya is panya. It understands. But when there's no understanding, there cannot be what we say for panya at all. What we say for panya at all. Panya has to understand, depending on what is there to be understood. Right now, seeing is there. What is panya? When it's panya, it understands, but when there's no panya, it cannot understand. So even that just appears like arising and falling away or whatever they are thinking about. No panya at all. So is that clear comprehension truth? Not at all. It's I who experience such with no understanding, but taking that moment for vipassana jnana. That's why that is wrong makka too. Miccha makka and samma makka. Otherwise, Buddha didn't point it out what is miccha makka. To remind, to know what is wrong and what is right. When there's no panya, it's useless no matter what object is there. Ignorance is there. That's why the teaching is so very, very subtle, because of realities are so very subtle. That's why have confidence of the truth. Satya, Panya understands at that moment. What is the understanding? No understanding. So it cannot be Panya, no matter what level. Impossible to be Vipassana jnana, because at that moment Panya is so keen and clear and sharp about the truth of that which appears as it is. Nobody can change, no one there at all. But there is what is there. Asava, taking it for self all the time. So it depends on the truth, what is true.
Yes.
when it's not true, and for truthful, it's wrong, all right? Where is Michamaka? Can the person tell the difference between Michamaka and Samamaka? And where are the paramis, or paramis, where are they in daily life? If it's not daily life, how can parami develop? That's why parami has to be in daily life, conditioned by right understanding, enough to condition such parami little by little, to let go, even thinking about what is there wrongly. That person doesn't mind or doesn't care about panya at all, just want to experience some strange object with no understanding, only pleasant to the self who think that one has realized the truth. But where is panya? It's I all the way. So it is so exciting for anyone who just want to experience such strange happening, not minding about what is panya and what panya understands. Can panya understand that moment? No matter what it is, no doubt, and no wrong belief or and there is michatiti. Taking that for panya, whilst there's no understanding. So we don't mind at all that strange happening or what is there. But what about right understanding of what is there now? And if there's no understanding of whatever is now, how can there be the understanding of such and such, which is strange or not strange at all? And is that strange true? What is the truth of that object? See,
And this
what
is
is
why
that
it's really
which is
important for to be the right path from the very beginning, the right understanding from the very beginning. Otherwise, there can
that's why
be
Buddha said from his enlightenment, after his enlightenment, the path, even the path, the fourth of the Noble Truth, must be so very, very subtle, because it's just right now, each moment of understanding, letting go little by little wrong understanding, ignorance and attachment to that wrong understanding. No other way. That person does not understand what is panya and what panya understand.
Roti. Did you have any comments you would like to have here? Because you were making one or two comments.
And if there's not yet letting go such thinking, it cannot be panya developed at all. Because at that moment, no understanding that it's the object of clinging already. Even right now, just clinging to that object. No understanding, it's gone. So panya let go such clinging to that object too. Otherwise, panya cannot develop to what is there now as it is. So true, not strange.
And whatever experience it is insignificant because it's gone completely. So what's important is the understanding now.
That's why
Otherwise,
panya
we're
has to
dwelling all the
understand
time.
the moment of clinging to object too.
So if we're not truthful to the truth, those unusual events that people experience, and I've had friends who say, oh, they had some sort of experience while meditating. So if we're not truthful to the truth, then we take those events for something to be really important, where in fact, as Sarah just said, it's gone already. It arose and it's gone already. So I like that little phrase, truthful to the truth. It's going to be my new motto.
The obsession with those experiences, no matter what, is a real hindrance to the path now, because there's the idea that I had such an experience and it was somehow so significant. Another friend I remember in Thailand thought he had jhanas when he was young, and it would often come up in discussions, and it would just be such a hindrance to just understanding this moment, that whatever appears is just a passing Dhamma of no great significance. And if it is the clear understanding now, no thinking and obsession with some experiences that one had when one was young.
Yes, that friend is one of the people I'm speaking of. There's also others that I've got, like around here. And it must be a real hindrance, because there's so much importance placed on that particular event that it's clung to. And yeah, thank you.
And that very moment is caught up by ignorance and attachment unknowingly. It doesn't let that people to develop understanding of truth, because it takes that object so very seriously, as it's so very important to experience again, but with ignorance again.
And this is the opposite of letting go, Tam, because it's thinking and of being obsessed, not letting go of what appears now, which is gone. It's all gone.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah. Yep.
Roti, do you have any comments on this topic? We can't hear you, Roti. I can see you're speaking. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what you said about insignificance, that's understanding, right? That can be vipassana jnana, as Lucas just mentioned.
If there's the idea that it was concentration, and from concentration, it's not the understanding of reality that can lead to the clear understanding of what appears. And regardless of whether it was right or wrong or what we think or not, it's all gone. They're all insignificant dharmas, all gone. And what matters is the understanding at this moment, what appears right now. Otherwise, it's thinking about I and my experiences in the past. It's all gone. And it really hinders the letting go of what appears now. No matter it's attachment or pain or ignorance, just what appears now naturally, they're all dharmas. It's not I who has any experiences, past or future, just different chittas that arise and fall away. So the right path is always has to begin with the understanding right now of what appears now. Otherwise, there's no point in talking about Vipassana Jnana or anything else if there's not beginning of understand in daily life at this moment. Dhammas is just Dhammas.
Yeah, it seems like Lucas has some issue with that.
We don't have to mention any names because they're just common problems. So it's so common for anyone to think they have had experiences and it may be right or it may not be right. But the issues common for all of us is just the ignorance and the lack of understanding at this moment. Taking what appears for something or someone.
Yeah, they're good comments, Sarah. Excellent, thanks.
We think of it as this person or that person who has a problem or an issue or an understanding, but actually just different Chaitasikas and Rupas rising and falling away.
I think it's people looking for an explanation as to why something happened and what it was.
Right. Someone may have had some particular experience and they wonder why, but it is, as Roti said, it's by conditions. And if there is strong concentration, it can lead to all sorts of unusual experiences, special experiences that one takes for being so significant.
Right. Yes.
And this is why the Buddha taught about the right path and the wrong path. Because strong concentration that is known or is apparent is usually wrong concentration. And it can lead to all kinds of bizarre experiences. And when the wrong path is taken for the right path, it's very dangerous because there's just more and more clinging to it and wishing to follow it more and more, leading further down the wrong track, leading away from the understanding and letting go of what appears at this moment.
I have another query if no one else has got anything more to say on that subject. And it's regarding, some time ago we talked about inner and outer. And this one, I think it was declared that the innermost is citta. And I was thinking that innermost, like it's the innermost thing inside this body, but this body's got nothing to do with innermost. So why, I mean, the body is a concept, really. So is citta called innermost because it's the one that it doesn't change its characteristic. Citta arises and falls, but citta is that, as I've heard Ajahn say, the chief in experiencing. So is this why we call citta the innermost? Maybe Ajahn could answer.
What is the object of your interest right now?
well, my query was about that, the inner and outer that we've talked about in the past. And I've written down inner, the innermost is citta. Why? And at one point I thought inner meant inside this body and outer was outside, but the body has really got nothing to do with it. The body is the concept. So why is citta innermost?
So now you are more interested in the citta, the innermost, rather than other things, right?
Yes, because citta is, as I've heard you say before, it's the chief in experiencing. So yes, and also I've heard it's innermost. So yeah, that is my interest at the moment.
Right now you are interested in understanding the citta, the innermost, right?
Right, Ka.
Because it's so very inner, it's very difficult to understand it at moment of beginning to wake up. What is there? The interest of that which appears, not that which experiences, because it's the innermost. Right now, visible object is appearing. Are you interested to understand that it's not that which experiences, just arise and experience, no shape, no form, no other characteristic at all, just arise to experience, that's all. And where is it? While the other reality can appear like hatred or attachment and ego and on and on. But what is that? Usually one forget about it. Even right now, we're talking about painful feeling, remembering, and so on. What about that which experiences all the time? And its function is just arise to experience the object, while the Cetasikas and other realities show up as like or dislike, not difficult as much as Citta, because it's there that you can know that it's that characteristic. But Citta, that characteristic which experiences, see, different from other things, and it's there all the time in life. No matter why one is asleep or wake up or whatever, it's there, one is doing or so on. It's there, not known and not being the object of interest at all, because we just think about other things all the time. See? So the innermost is there, hidden, no thought about it, just talk about other thing else. But it's there, see? And it's different from Cetasikas. It cannot hate, it cannot like, it cannot whatever is done by other function of other realities. But it is that just rise to experience, that's all. To find out what is there, the innermost. See, not the place, but the characteristic, which is there, unknown. Just begin to understand the meaning of the difference between each reality, that's all. Otherwise, what can be the explanation for the characteristic of citta, which is a reality which experiences, while the other citasikas, realities such as cittas, also experience, but different function. See, citta experience the object, the chief of experience, the characteristic. We can use the word clear than the other cetasika which arise with it, because the other cetasika, because the cetasika experience object by its function, its manners, but the citta no such function or manner, just only that which experiences an object. And it's there now. See what can be known now in different feeling, or a little attachment, or no attachment, nothing at all, because it's not clear, it doesn't show up, it's just there, very still. Who knows that it's there? That's why each different realities has to be known as they are as different realities. Otherwise, what about the chitta there, while the other cetasika arising with it and appear, but chitta is there. Without chitta, can those cetasikas arise? But when those
No.
cetasikas arise, there can be the beginning to attend to such characteristic. And now it's time to attend to that which is inner than cetasika and other realities. So we don't mind much about the word, but understand the truth that it is different from cetasika. It cannot be any one of cetasika at all, because its function is just to experience. See? But in a day, the object appear and some moment of pleasant feeling and remembering sanya. What's that lady's name? We haven't met before, and so on, or we have met before, and so on. See, so many things in life appear, but the inner, the chief of experiencing is there. In order to know the difference between each object, because it experiences one object at a time. Clear to know the difference between each one. The end of the ocean and the sky, the horizon. See? Who knows? To know that it's not the same, different, even it appears. And while Cetasika just like it, dislike it, it can experience, but by way of liking or disliking, because Citta has performed its function of experiencing the object clear. So I think that we don't mind about the word, but we can understand the difference and begin to understand what is meant by inner. It's there. Even the Cetasikas does not appear as while one is asleep. No one there, no Citta, no Cetasika appearing at all. But what is there innermost is the Citta arising and falling away with the other Vipaka Cetasika. And this is a truth, just to be understood. And that which can be directly understood is that which is now appearing. Does Citta appear now?
No. Chitta, I
Begin
mean,
to
I was,
understand that it's there as
yes, it
different
must be there.
Cittakas. Mhm.
And
So
it's never, it's like the jitta must experience each object clearly, but it's the jitta seekers that either touch the object or we like it, we dislike it. It seems on my part there's more emphasis placed on all of the jitta seekers, but jitta is always, it's hidden. It doesn't, it does, it is there obviously because it's experiencing, but each jitta, it must be in very difficult to know. It must require a lot of panya to actually experience a jitta.
even so, whatever is there can be known as it is. When attachment is there, the characteristic of attachment is there to be known. Once it's so attached, but it takes that reality as one, while it's there as no one. No thought about citta, right? Even citta arising and falling away all the time, while not all cetasika can arise all the time. Only some 7 Cetasikas arise all the time with each moment of Chitta. That's all. See, who knows about the Phassa, about the feeling, about Cetana, as it is, as no one. But it appears while Chitta experiences it, no thinking about it, no one knows about it, that it's there, arising and experiencing. Otherwise, the other Cetasika cannot perform their functions, different function at all. Everything is so subtle. Otherwise, it can be known very easily as not self, but it is always known as something because not understanding the true nature of each one as it is different ones. At moment of experiencing citta, no characteristic of cetasikas are there to be known. See, the innermost, the other thing is not there, as is there, as outer.
That's a wonderful explanation, Achan. Thank you so much.
This is the path, see? Otherwise, whatever is there, so very strange, like it, want to experience it again, but no understanding. It hinders. Attachment and ignorance is there. Not to see that the truth of that can be known. As what? Even it's so strange.
Yes, and one goes on, like our friend wondering why it happened or something like this. But when one knows that whatever arises now happens by conditions, anything unexpected can happen at any time. But it's just Dharma, not anything special to cling to, no matter how strange or bizarre. It's just Dharma that arises and passes away. And zeta on the internal and external, it also depends on the context. So this is the meaning of chitta, the innermost, the ultimate reality. But in the context, like you mentioned about in this body or that body, inner and outer, like this chitta is not the same as that chitta. I can talk about my chitta or your chitta conventionally, even though it's just chitta. So this is another meaning of inner and outer, even though in the absolute sense, chitta is just chitta, and it is the innermost one, different from the cetasikas. So it always depends on the context too.
Yes, I think the explanation Achan gave, it's shown me how difficult it is to know citta.
And not only citta, cetasikas as well. Everything.
Also, yes, Achan, also the others, but particularly at this moment, citta.
Because they do not appear as they are, but as something.
When we talk about seeing now, so seeing is quite different from Phassa or Vedana or Manasikara or any of the other realities that have been mentioned, because seeing just sees, that's it. And it's just a Dharma. So in the ultimate sense, it's not my seeing or your seeing, even though one might conventionally refer to it, and the texts do, as inner and outer, but it's just the Dharma which sees and then is gone. Different from what is seen.
Thank you.
And do you have anything you want to mention today, or Paina, or anyone else before we finish?
My question was, or my topic was the same as what Azita raised in the first place, truthfulness to the truth. And I found it very useful hearing Ajahn speak about that. But no, I don't have anything else.
It can apply to strange happening at that moment when it's not panya. It's ignorance and clinging which hinders the understanding of the truth, because it takes such moment as so very important, very interesting, very fascinating, that it would like to, that person would like it to happen again. See, no understanding. But when panya is there, letting go all that, useless because of no understanding. Even it's there again. What about understanding? When there's no understanding, is it useful? Is it true? It's not true, because it is just that which is object of attachment, ignorance, and doubt. What is that? See? And the truth is that what is there as the absolute reality? No understanding, clinging, ignorance. So what's the use? Just let it go. It's not useful. So why think on and on about it? Would like it to happen again? What for? And what about understanding what is there now as it is? What is more useful? So ignorance and clinging conceal and covers up the truth any moment. And one
Like
can
you often
understand when by what is there which hinder the progress of understanding, because of not letting go that which is gone, never to arise again. And when it arises, it is again object of clinging when there's no understanding. But even it has a reason by condition. What about the understanding? Understanding can understand even that moment as what is true, and what is not self, and what is it which appears. The function of understanding is understand whatever is there, more or less by conditions. So it's just like anything arising and falling away. But attachment is there to to everything which one does not understand it as it is yet.
So we live mostly with ignorance and attachment.
Asava,
Yeah. Yes, for sure. A huge amount of the time, but also ignorance and attachment that can be known, that are not asava, that are stronger than asava.
but when it's not strong, it's
Asava.
asava.
Yes. So even if we
Does,
think, go ahead, Ajahn.
does Anusaya experience an object?
No.
Does asava experience the object?
Yes.
The difference between each reality as it is, different levels. Can asava be known?
No. not, can asava be known? As there is more and more panya, if asava,
Even we don't use the term asava, but what is there at moment of seeing and not understanding seeing? See, it's there. It doesn't show up as wrong understanding or clinging or ignorance, but it's there.
yeah,
So
right,
moment of understanding is the moment of eliminate asava.
yes,
But we don't have to call it it's asava. See, because it's there, not understanding. And when understanding is there, it's not an ignorance.
mhm. And that's the letting go little by little.
That's it. So understanding also eliminate asava too.
Yeah,
Asava, see, taking it, wrong understanding, it's me, it's I who see. Even we don't call it, but we begin to understand the very, very subtle akusala is there. That as long as it does show up, it's there unknown. So people enjoy life and try other way, which is the wrong way, to let go clinging and ignorance, but it's impossible because it has to be panya only, which understands. So the ignorance is less and less, little by little, at moment of understanding the truth.
So Ajahn, kilesa is different from asava as well, or is it the same?
How many akusala cetasikas are there?
How many akusala citta?
Cetasika, I mean, sorry. How many akusala cetasikas are there? When
So,
they do not show up, how can
yeah.
we know? Even it's there, no word, only the characteristic is there. So at this moment, no understanding of seeing, right? So what is there? No understanding, which nobody knows. That now it's the no understanding of seeing, but it's akusala, not to understanding it.
ignorant.
Asava,
Yeah,
vichasava, see? It's the way to understand the word of the teaching about the very subtle reality at different moments.
mhm.
And I think, as you've often pointed out, it's like with regard to these special experiences and so on, as you've often mentioned, the test of whatever we've heard and the test of understanding is always this moment. It's not about any understanding that happened 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. It's always what appears now. Is there any understanding right now? Otherwise, it's useless because what's gone is gone. The future hasn't come. But right now, what is understood, what is known.
So would there be any difference if there were 13 checked and wholesome factors instead of 14?
Is that a question for Ajahn?
For anybody who,
So well, because of the microphone, or I don't know what. Please say it again.
Yes, Jan, I asked if there would be any difference if there would be 13 unwholesome chetasikas instead of 14.
Again, please, because your voice is broken.
Ajahn, I can explain because earlier you asked how many kilesa there are, how many defilements there are.
Right, that is my
And-
question before.
And Roti's question to you is, does it make any difference whether there are 13 or 14, for example? That's what Roti is asking you.
To understand the truth, is it beneficial to understand the truth, what is true and what is not true?
So the truth is that there are 14 chetasikas and not 13, Ajahn?
Even we don't count, but we can understand the difference between each one as ignorance. Is there any ignorance? And what is ignorance? Even we don't call it ignorance, but it means the reality which cannot understand the truth. Whenever it arises, it cannot understand the truth. That is ignorance. So now, why is ignorance? It's now, at moment of not understand seeing as it is. No matter what we call it, it's that which does not understand. It's different from moment of understanding it, that is so real, it's there, it has to arise, otherwise it cannot be there at all. And it does not stay long, because not always seeing, because there are many objects experiencing different moment too. So seeing at moment of thinking, it's not there. And where is it? Never to arise again. Beginning to think about the truth, to understand the truth, that the enlightened one had developed parami to realize the truth. So now listen to that word and begin to think carefully about it. Is it true? Is it I? Because it's conditioned to arise at that moment of understanding. It's different from moment of not understanding anything about it at all. So it's one characteristic which is unwholesome, not understanding. Not understanding is wholesome or unwholesome. What is a benefit? What is more beneficial? But to understand or not understanding at all. It is Panya who knows about it, about the truth of what is wholesome and what is not wholesome. So Panya is not akusala. So avijja, ignorance, is moha cetasika. We know one by one, not just to try to know all when it's not there, but when it's there, beginning to understand, there must be the reality which cannot understand the truth of that which is now arising and falling away. And the truth is that, does it arise? Does it fall away while it is now appearing? And what is true and what is not true? And when it's so true, can it be directly experienced? Because it's there to be known of its nature as it is, but not with ignorance and no understanding and thinking that I understand or I don't mind. See, always I. But where's the I? Seeing is just there and it falls away. No self, no I at all. Beginning to understand what is true in life. Otherwise, there's no understanding of the truth of what is there from birth to death at all. From life to life, on and on, endlessly. Sometimes pleasant feeling, sometimes unpleasant feeling, sometimes trouble, and sometimes very enjoyable. See, to understand what is there as it is, better it doesn't matter at all. Just live and then die. All depends on ignorance and right understanding. So we learn to understand what we call jika, mental factor, and chitta. They are different because they are different realities by different conditions. Otherwise, in a day, there must be ignorance and attachment more than other realities. So we know Cetasika little by little, when it's there, for example, when dosa is there, it's not attachment at all. It doesn't want to experience such and such object. It dislikes it, see. A reality, not me or anyone, but it's conditioned by experiencing unpleasant object and accumulation to dislike it is there to arise. Another akusala, Dhamma, Cetasika, ignorance and attachment, and then dosa. And what are the others in life is there, unknown. And from hearing the teachings, there can be a moment of beginning to know about it until there can be a moment of understanding it directly when it's there, as it's heard and developed enough to let go the idea of self, little by little.
Roti and Ajahn, I think we can continue next week to discuss more about why there are the 14 Akusala Cetasikas and discuss them in more detail, because it's helpful to everyone, not just you and Tan Tan, but everyone. So let's continue this topic next time. Anumodana Ajahn, thank you very much. Sawadee ka.